We live in the church age. In this dispensation, we are supposed to do the work of the church. So we can't be just about the things of Israel.
Mike, I've known Bible-believing Christians that I think innocently have admitted that they don't give Israel, modern or ancient, much thought when they think about things. And I'm wondering, where should we as Christians place Israel? What's the proper place for Israel in a believer's life?
Okay, that's an excellent question, Steve. Human beings in a fallen world are prone to extremes. So that's hard to have a biblical balance in almost every area of life, and this is no exception. In this question, you have on one side, there are Christians who only talk about Israel. You've run into them, I've run into them. But I was a pastor for 31 years. We live in the church age. In this dispensation, we are supposed to do the work of the church. So we can't be just about the things of Israel. We have to be about the things of the church. It's God's plan. Now, some Christians come to that because of an overdose on prophecy. That's all they think about. That's all they do. That's all they read. All their books are about that. And 25% of the Bible was prophetic when it was written. So that is important. And I want to come back to that because that means 75% of the Bible is not prophecy. We got to address that also. And so that's important enough maybe to come back to. But on the other side, there are those who give little thought to Israel whatsoever. They reject any or don't emphasize anything about ancient Israel because of their replacement theology. Since the church has replaced Israel, who cares about the details about Israel? It's just background to the real thing. And Israel has forfeited, some would say, forfeited the promises because of their disbelief, their idolatry. Others will say it's not, they haven't forfeited it, but it's just been applied spiritually now to the new Israel, the church. So it's an allegorical understanding. And then as far as present-day Israel is concerned, some aren't interested at all in second coming things. And it's the prophecies about the end times where Israel generates some interest. And so they're not that interested in second coming things. But then also they look at Israel today as a nation in the Middle East. Israel is in unbelief. The vast majority of people in Israel who are citizens don't believe in Jesus, and a lot of them don't even believe in God. There's a large number of atheists. So how can that be important to God's plan? So you have those two extremes. So where do we land on how we look at that? And let me make three suggestions. First, we need to have a biblical understanding of God's plan for Israel that's complete and exhaustive based upon the Word of God. When I was a teenager, I began reading the Bible, Steve, and I didn't understand much. In fact, I didn't become a Christian believer until I was a senior in college. But I did understand the word Israel is in this book a lot. In fact, later I found out this 2,600 times almost that the word Israel occurs in the Bible. So that means it's not a side thing. It's not an obscure little thing in the Bible. It's a major deal. And then I ran across the land promises. And the land promises to Israel, starting with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and then reaffirmed all the way through the Old Testament, and I think even in the New Testament. And that's why I'm a Zionist, because God has promised the land to the Jewish people. And then we have Jesus, who is a Jewish Messiah. I worship a Jewish carpenter, as it's often said. In space and time, God chose Jewish flesh for the incarnation, and Jesus came down. And God entered into the human race through Jesus. And that's important. Now, it is true today, Israel is in blindness. It's temporary, based on Romans 9 through 11. But the Old Testament seems to predict a regathering in the end time days in unbelief. Ezekiel 20, Ezekiel 22, Zephaniah 2:1. Relative to the coming day of the Lord, there's a regathering of Israel in unbelief. And we need to understand, and even though they're in unbelief now, there is a coming restoration when Israel will be not just regathered in the land, but Christ will come and they will be restored as a nation, not just nationally, but spiritually as well. And they'll embrace him. Zechariah 12 to 14, Isaiah 11, Ezekiel 37, all the way to 48. There's a time of glory coming for Israel.